In the sleepy town of Amstetten, Austria, behind the closed doors of an ordinary suburban home, lay a horror so unimaginable that when it was finally revealed in 2008, it shocked the entire world. A missing daughter, a secret underground prison, a father who lived a double life. This is the true and haunting story of Josef Fritzl, the man who imprisoned his own daughter in a cellar for 24 years and fathered 7 children with her, while the world above remained unaware. Josef Fritzl appeared to be a respectable member of society. Born in 1935, he became an electrical engineer, married a woman named Rosemary, and raised a large family. To outsiders, Fritzl was quiet, disciplined, and somewhat strict, but nothing seemed amiss. In truth, he had a dark history. In 1967, decades before the world knew his name, Fritzl was convicted of rape. He served only 18 months, and the crime was largely forgotten, even sealed from public record under Austrian law. But that predator never went away. He simply went underground, literally. In the 1980s, Fritzl began building a secret basement beneath his home. It wasn't just for storage. He spent years reinforcing the walls with concrete, installing hidden doors, and creating what he called a safe place. He told everyone it was for protection during a possible nuclear war, but he knew exactly what he was preparing for. In August 1984, his 18-year-old daughter Elizabeth vanished. Joseph told police and neighbors that she had run away to join a religious cult, a claim he supported with letters supposedly written by her. In reality, he had drugged her, chained her, and dragged her into the dungeon he had built. That night, Elizabeth's world ended. Her prison was a cramped, soundproof chamber. No natural light, no fresh air, and no escape. Fritzl kept her locked behind multiple doors, one of which weighed over 500 kilograms and had a secret keypad only he knew. What followed was more than 2 decades of hell. Fritzl visited the cellar almost every day, bringing food and supplies, and abusing Elizabeth repeatedly. Over time, Elizabeth gave birth to 7 children. 1 died shortly after birth. Fritzl burned the body in a furnace. The rest were split. 3 remained underground with their mother, never seeing sunlight. The other 3 were mysteriously discovered by Fritzl on his doorstep and raised upstairs by him and his wife, who claimed they were abandoned by Elizabeth. Rosemary claimed to believe her husband. She never once looked behind the steel door. Imagine growing up in a world with no sky. That was the reality for the children born in captivity. The cellar had a bathroom, a small kitchen, and a sleeping area. Fritzl installed a TV and some basic amenities, but they were all under his control. He threatened to gas them if they tried to escape. They lived in constant fear of punishment, isolation, or death. Elizabeth homeschooled the children the best she could. She tried to create routines, offer comfort, and instill hope, all while battling unimaginable trauma. Meanwhile, upstairs, the world turned. The Fritzl family held parties, celebrated holidays, and even had grandchildren living above the very siblings they never knew existed. In April 2008, everything began to unravel. One of the underground children, 19-year-old Kirsten, became critically ill. She was unconscious and required immediate medical attention. Fritzl, realizing she might die, allowed her to be taken to a hospital, but doctors were baffled. Kirsten had no birth certificate, no medical history, and strange symptoms linked to extreme vitamin deficiency and stress. They alerted the authorities. Under pressure, Fritzl finally allowed Elizabeth to come to the hospital, under the guise of explaining Kirsten's condition. There, Elizabeth did the unthinkable. She told the truth. After 24 years, the basement story came to light. The police raided the home, and what they found was beyond comprehension. The cellar was a dungeon. The doors, the locks, the air filtration system, it had been carefully constructed over decades. In 2009, Josef Fritzl was charged with rape, incest, slavery, false imprisonment, and manslaughter for the child who died. He pled guilty to all charges and was sentenced to life in a high-security psychiatric facility. Elizabeth and her children were taken into protective care. They were given new identities and began a slow and painful recovery, adjusting to a world they had only seen through a television screen. A house that once hid a nightmare was sealed and later destroyed. The Fritzl case is a dark reminder that evil can exist behind even the most ordinary facades. Elizabeth's resilience, her ability to protect and raise her children under such horrifying conditions, has become a symbol of unimaginable strength. Though the scars remain, she and her children now live in a secure, undisclosed location, rebuilding the lives that were stolen from them one day at a time. If you found this video interesting, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe.